probably one of my favorite. Of course, the Ronettes, all the Ronettes records were just unbelievable. And Darlene Love, Wait Till My Bobby Gets Home, it's like, I mean, they were just, I mean, if they got into your soul, they stayed with you, you know, and you always wanted to do something try to do something as good as Phil Spector. He was the best.
And your music was as good, if not better. You were incredible, Lou, man.
No, is.
You know who you was best? Frankie Valli owes you was that, baby.
Well,
don't tell Frankie that.
I know.
I'm telling you,
no,
you're one of my heroes.
Thank you very much. That's not nice. You know, there were so many people made, you know, really great records. I mean, that was the best part of, I think, of our lives, our teenage lives, you know, or our generation. I mean, we have, I think we, you know, it's gone now, but I think we had the best of our times. I mean, they won't be coming out next week. You won't be buying the top 10 records.
And I got to give you the guitar player on your records, man. I'm a guitar player myself. That guitar player on those records, man. He was.
Well, Ralph Cassell was one of the main guys who did studio work, and Charlie Colello used him an awful lot, and he did the lightning, you know, and lightning strikes, that guitar thing.
Man, when I see that guitar solo, man, because it has a little bit of the ventures in it.
Well, it sounds like sort of Bonanza on acid or something. If you remember acid.
I remember the acid Kool-Aid test. Remember
there you go.
I know that you wanted to speak about Pete Bennett. Wanted to fill you in a little bit on Phil Spector, and you know, Pete's one of the greatest promoters of all time of rock and roll and other genres of music as well. But not only that, he's got a great website, PeteBennett.com, and I know Lou Christie has a great website too as well. And
I do have a question for Mr. Bennett. I understand that when Phil would record like with 3 drummers, and then he had 5 double basses on some of that stuff. Could he talk about that?
yeah, go ahead, Pete. Jump in there.
Joe, Phil didn't record.
Excuse me?
Phil did not record with 3 drums. Phil recorded with 2 drummers. I have worked with Phil for many years.
Was Earl Palmer one of them?
Who?
Earl Palmer?
Palmer's a friend of mine. Yes, he was one of them.
Oh, man.
But not all the time. But Phil, I worked with Phil a lot, but individual of the Beatles, the John Lennon, when we did Imagine, and when we did My Sweet Lord with George Harrison. And unfortunately, right now, Phil is just resting somewhere. And he's a friend of Lou Christie's, too. Lou Christie pays a visit to him all the time.
He used to let the drummer go wild on the endings, man,
Yeah.
That's rock and roll, man.
Play the new song. Hey, by the way, our number here, Joe, for those people who are listening, is 212-219-9695. Give us a call.
Thank you for letting me on the air. I really appreciate all you guys.
Thank you, Joe. You're the greatest. Feel better. Howard, how are you? Howard Tucker, how are you, Howard?
Good, Teddy. How are you?
Great to hear your voice again. Great to hopefully we'll come and join us again soon in the studio. It was great seeing you that time. And by the way, thanks for the shirt.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope it fit. I went a little larger.
Well, it actually did fit, and I lost about 10 pounds since then. Now it still fits anyway, though. I know you wanted to comment on some of Lou Christie's great music and whatever else you'd like to comment or ask.
Good evening. As with everybody, I was 11 years old when the Gypsy cried, and I loved it. One of my favorite songs.
So was I.
Being a Jersey Boys fan, I heard that Peggy Davidson was a backup on Lightning Strikes. Is that true? She was with the Angels?
She sure was. Yeah, Peggy and let's see, Peggy and Denise Ferry was another one, and Bernadette Carroll. Do you remember? I wanna be a party girl. Well, that was the 3 girls who did the background on that whole Lightning Strikes album. They were fantastic. They were the closest that they came to my original girls, which was my sister and Twyla and another friend of ours. So Twyla's daughter was the woman that I wrote all the songs with.
Beautiful. I remember back 50 years ago, I think, on your first record, the record company gave you the last name Christie, correct?
Yes, they did. Yes, and I didn't like it for years. So, but I learned to like it. My dad said, "You're going to have luck with that name because they put Christ in the name." And, you know, so that's typical Italian for you, that generation. So, and it was. I mean, the first record that I put out as Lou Christie was my first million-selling record. So. It was.
Number 5.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Howard. Thanks for calling in. Look forward to seeing you soon. Let's go to John. John from Manhattan. How are you?
Yes, good evening. I have a question for Lou. With the falsetto, I've often wondered, particularly when you're on the road performing, do you have to train your voice for that, and does it strain the voice? Are there periods where you can't do it? I have another question.
No. No, thank God. I mean, it's just there when I need it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Sometimes I don't know how, and I can't even question it. I don't know if it's because all the pizza I ate or spaghetti when I was young. I don't know. I breathe good air out in the country, but I was blessed with this voice that was, you know, I thought everyone could sing like that. I didn't think it was that original, to be quite honest, because I don't know, our whole family sang, so it was never really you know, a thing. I thought, can't everyone sing? You know.
Falsetto didn't strain your voice?
No. That's the same key. No, my natural voice is the bass too. Is really
got that, Jeff?
Bass, yeah.
My other question is, I heard Mr. Drayton Sal that's on before with the album cover book, which is a great book. I'm wondering, did you have a lot to do with the covers of your albums? Was it something you paid a lot of attention to?
As much as I could do, yes, as much as I could do, many times. The Lightning Strikes album cover was, you know, thought out, and, you know, most of the photo sessions that I saw, the strangest one was the very, very first one that came out, and that was so bizarre that they wanted to rush that thing out, and there was all kind of problems with the very first one, but then they reissued that first album with a new album, and pretty much I've sort of followed all of my album covers straight through after the first one because I thought the first one was such a disaster. But Lightning Strikes and Rhapsody in the Rain and all these other things, they were all, you know, things that I had obviously input on them or in them.
Okay, John.
It's becoming a lost art because of the way the industry's changed.
Yeah, well, there.
Anyway, it's really enjoyable hearing you and hearing your songs again.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, Bob would like to read a couple of sponsors, and we're going to play some of the great songs of Mr. Lou Christie. Go ahead, Bob.
So the Old Request Show is sponsored in part. Teddy Smith, Bob Obrien, South Orange, France. We'll be there, right, Tim, on Wednesday with Teddy. Also sponsored in part by Ultimate Pizza, East 57th Street and First Avenue. Mark Bedenza, Kate Witter, and we have to go up to our good friends over at Sutton Boutique there and get my shoes cleaned over there, First Avenue, East 53rd Street. And I also want to welcome Mark Bedenza back. Is he going to be down here soon?
Yeah, he's going to be coming down. He'll be promoting his great book, Joe White, from Boston, Massachusetts. So, in the meantime, I got some great music continuing on with Lou Christie here, WPAT.